Welcome back to MMA Unleashed, where fight fans get their real stories, raw drama, and all the latest news from the octagon and beyond. The UFC's main card, the fight we've all been waiting for, is suddenly hanging by a thread. Explain clearly. Rumors say Alex Pereira might be unable to fight, leaving the card without its main event. Introduce the twist. Jiri Prochazka, a man known for chaos and honor, immediately offers to step in. Ask rhetorical questions to hook the audience. Will Pereira make the walk? If not, could we get an immediate rematch between two warriors who already shared the cage once? Tease the flow of the video. You'll cover Pereira's rise, Jiri's samurai code, UFC history with cancellations, and the stakes for MMA's future. Chapter 1. The drama of UFC main events. Main events are the crown jewel of a UFC card. The fight posters, promotional videos, press conferences, all revolve around this one bout. When a headliner falls apart, it doesn't just affect the fighters, it affects business, millions in marketing already spent. Fans, people book PPVs, flights, hotel stays for a single fight. Rankings, title pictures, and divisions get delayed. Famous UFC cancellations: Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, 2015 to 2018. 5 attempts, 5 cancellations, one of the biggest what-ifs in MMA history. John Jones pulled from UFC 200 after testing positive, forcing UFC to scramble. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Nate stepped in on 11 days' notice, creating one of the most legendary upsets in combat sports. The UFC often survives these disasters by finding dramatic replacements. That's exactly what Jiri is offering now. Build tension. History shows us, when UFC cards fall apart, chaos usually creates legends. Chapter 2. Who is Alex Pereira? Personal struggles. Pereira was born in São Bernardo do Campo, Brazil. Worked construction jobs as a teen, fought alcoholism, and used kickboxing as his escape. Kickboxing dominance rose through glory. Kickboxing won championships in 2 divisions, middleweight and light heavyweight. That made him one of the most feared strikers in the world. UFC arrival. Debuted in 2021 with hype around his past wins over Israel Adesanya. He carried a reputation as the man who had Izzy's number. Rivalry with Adesanya. In kickboxing, Pereira beat him twice, won by KO. In MMA, Pereira shocked the world at UFC 281 by stopping Izzy in the 5th round after being down on the scorecards. At UFC 287, Izzy got revenge with a thunderous KO, ending Pereira's middleweight reign. Moved to light heavyweight, beat Jan Blachowicz in a close decision, proving he could hang at 205. Then fought Jiri Prochazka at UFC 295, knocking him out in the 2nd round to become champion in 2 divisions. Style and persona: Pereira is calm, cold, patient. He stalks opponents. Known for his left hook, one of the deadliest weapons in MMA. Nickname Poatan means stone hands in Tupi, an indigenous Brazilian language. His aura is unique. Fans compare him to a video game final boss. Chapter 3. Who is Jiri Prochazka? Childhood in the Czech Republic. Got into street fights, lacked direction, found purpose in martial arts. Adopts a samurai lifestyle, meditates daily, trains outdoors, reads books on philosophy, and openly talks about living and dying by the Bushido code. UFC rise, debuted by knocking out Volkan Oezdemir. KO Dominic Reyes with a spinning elbow, one of the most spectacular knockouts in UFC history. Championship moment: UFC 275 versus Glover Teixeira. It was a brutal 5-round war. Jiri was losing, but with less than 30 seconds left, he submitted Glover. That comeback is legendary. Injury setback. Vacated the title after suffering what Dana White called the worst shoulder injury the UFC has ever seen. Return fight. faced Alex Pereira at UFC 295. Jiri was stopped in round 2, though many argued it was an early stoppage. Fighting style chaotic, unpredictable, throws spinning kicks, flying knees, looping punches. He doesn't play safe. He either finishes or gets finished. Personality. Fans love his fearlessness. When he says he'll step in, they believe him. His offer to replace Pereira fits his brand perfectly. Fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. Chapter 4. Why the main event matters. Main events are more than fights. They're marketing anchors. UFC invests in promo tours, press conferences, and global advertising campaigns. Sponsors and broadcasters tie their promotions to the headliner. Pereira's importance represents Brazil, brings a massive fan base, and sells cards because of his knockout power. Jiri's importance represents Eastern Europe, has a cult-like following because of his samurai persona and highlight reel fights. This isn't just about belts. It's about narratives. Pereira equals the cold, patient assassin. Jiri equals the wild, fearless warrior. If the fight collapses, the UFC risks losing fan trust. But if Jiri steps in, they can spin it into another epic storyline. Chapter 5. Pereira vs. Prochazka. 2. What would it look like? First fight breakdown. Pereira used patience and precision, waiting for Jiri to overextend. Jiri pressed forward aggressively, but walked into Pereira's strikes. Pereira dropped him, and the ref waved it off in round 2. Debate. Some fans say it was an early stoppage, adding fuel to the rematch hype. Tactical breakdown. Jiri's adjustments: slow down, use better head movement, avoid reckless blitzes, maybe add wrestling or clinch control. Pereira's adjustments: keep distance, chop Jiri's legs, set up that left hook again. Fan excitement. Jiri represents redemption, the warrior coming back to rewrite history. Pereira represents dominance, the champion proving his first win was no fluke. UFC loves these kinds of rematches. The narrative writes itself. Chapter 6. UFC politics and backup fighters. UFC doesn't always go by rankings. They go by who brings eyes and money. Options. Magomed Ankalaev. Technically strong but not marketable. Jamahal Hill. Ex-champ but coming off injury. Jiri's star power. Highlight finishes. Samurai persona. Built-in fan base. He's more sellable than anyone else. Dana White's history. UFC often saves cards with wild replacements. Example, Michael Bisping stepping in last minute against Luke Rockhold at UFC 199 and shocking the world by becoming champ. With Jiri offering himself, UFC has a ready-made storyline that fans will buy. Chapter 7. Fan reactions and MMA media. Fans react instantly online. Some panic about losing Pereira. Some troll the UFC for bad luck with injuries. Many praise Jiri as a savior of the card. Social media buzz matters now. It shapes UFC decisions. If fans push hard enough for Jiri, UFC will seriously consider it. MMA media jumps on the story. YouTubers break down the news. Journalists speculate on replacements. Podcasts debate early stoppage versus fair stoppage in their first fight. This hype keeps the card alive. Fans get excited for something even if Pereira drops out. Chapter 8. Legacy and what's at stake. Pereira's situation? If he pulls out, fans question his durability and longevity. If he fights and loses, his aura as the final boss takes a hit. Jiri's situation: if he steps in and loses, he still earns respect for courage. If he steps in and wins, it's the ultimate redemption arc, regaining the belt he never lost in the cage. UFC history thrives on these stories. Bisping's shocking short-notice title win. Nate Diaz choking out McGregor. Dustin Poirier carving his legacy through wars. If Pereira vs. Jiri 2 happens under these circumstances, it's not just a rematch, it's a legendary chapter in UFC history. Drop your takes in the comments. I read every single one. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, subscribe for more MMA content, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next update. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and enjoy the fights!